Hey, how's it going? If you're new here, my name is Jan and I love makeup. And if you're not new, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate you. Obviously, we're gonna talk about eyeshadow palettes I think are fall appropriate. I think you can wear whatever you wanna wear, whenever you wanna wear it. But if you're interested in what I think says fall to me, then stick around, we're gonna get into it. If you're not subscribed to my channel, you can do that now. I upload a bunch of videos every week. If you click on the little bell and choose all, YouTube will notify you when I upload a new one, and you can choose to watch or not. It's totally up to you. No pressure from me. The first palette I'm gonna mention is the one I'm wearing on my eyes now. It's the BH Cosmetics Optimistic AF palette. I had never used this before, so I filmed a Throwback Thursday with it, and this screams autumn fall to me. The oranges, even this like kind of maroony shade, I think it screams fall. And my eyes look like candy corn, which also screams fall. So there's that. It's a pretty basic palette. It's excellent quality. It's the good BH Cosmetics. So if you like the color story for whatever time of year, it's a good palette. I would definitely recommend. Next up, I have the Glaminatrix Nocturnal palette. I just recently got this one as a present from Shawnee, and I think this one says autumn as well. There's some blues, but you know, the skies are blue. Trees are turning brown and red and orange, and I think this is just like a muted kind of fall palette. You know, it gets dark earlier. I've used this a couple of times and the quality is fantastic. And I think this could be a really fun palette to play with during autumn. The next one I have is the Sydney Grace X Fancy Face Tropicolor palette. Now this one I really genuinely think is excellent for anything. But it does have some really yummy fall tones in there. You know, there's orange and yellow, the greens, the blue. This is such a fantastic palette. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. I need to use it again. This is one that I want to use during this time of year. I mean, I always want to use all my makeup, but these are the palettes I'm feeling. Next, we have the Blend Bunny Surge palette. Obviously, I wasn't gonna be able to do a video without mentioning a Blend Bunny palette. And this one, I feel like is more Halloween than autumn because of the different colors you could do. Lots of really fun looks. I think this is just a really good time anytime. But this one says like Halloween to me, which I don't actually do Halloween. But if you do, maybe you would have some fun doing some looks with that palette. I have two from Ace Beauté. I have the Vintage Dawn palette, which is this kind of smaller one. But when I started thinking about doing this video a few days ago, this one popped into my head, and you can tell why. I mean, look at that color story. Our leaves look like that. Not the blue, that's more like sky, but like really warm, bright, beautiful colors in this palette. So I think this one would be fun to use, as well as the Flare palette. And not just because it's orange, though. The orange is probably a factor. But again, the color story. I mean, just so much warm, yummy tones for this time of year. It's beautiful. And I do like the quality. Oh, all these palettes. I don't keep palettes in my collection that are crappy quality. Next, we have the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. I've only used this one a few times, but it has those really warm, yummy autumnal shades in there with a bit of some cool tones, but it's really, really pretty. So I think I'm probably gonna bust this out and play with this one as well. Thankfully, we have just over a month of autumn because this is a lot of palettes I wanna play with. And then one I just played with is the Odin's Eye Stone and Rock palette. This has more of the, you know, darker greens, more of the dead autumn kind of colors, but I think it's definitely appropriate and a really nice palette to play with. You know, I couldn't get through without mentioning the Nomad Hudson Valley palette. This is such a fantastic palette. I'm almost comfortable saying this is the best fall palette of ever. Look at those shades. You got the warmth, the cool. It's just so, so good. And this red is a true red. So when it goes on your eyes, it goes on red, just like the apples in the fall. And then I think the Ghost Town palette qualifies as a good fall palette. It's just, well, first of all, it's beautiful, but the colors in here, dark, gloomy fall days. I definitely think this one is fall appropriate. And I want to mention Haunted Europe as well from Nomad. It's not available anymore, but it's definitely fall appropriate. And then I have one honorable mention, which I fully admit I would not have thought of if I hadn't seen someone else talk about this. Eve Pavlova, I think. I copycatted her look on Sunday, so her video is linked in my description box of that video. She mentioned the Lunar Beauty 12 Days of Lunar palette, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, look at that. This was not a holiday palette. I mean, it was released for the holidays in a brilliant fashion, but this color story screams fall to me. So I'm definitely going to be using it this fall. I think it is beautiful. The quality of this palette cannot be sneezed at. So those are just some really quick thoughts on some palettes I'm looking forward to playing with this fall. You'll have to let me know if there's any that you're looking forward to playing with that I haven't mentioned yet, and maybe if I have it, I could play with it. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Either way, I appreciate hanging out with me today. Be good, and remember to be kind to you.